Justin Herbert, Tui Pelotu, and the Los Angeles Chargers take on CJ Stroud, Will Anderson Jr., and the Houston Texans in a massive Week 17 AFC battle. Divisional implications for this one. Two Super Bowl contenders, and that's right, you heard me correctly. These are two top 5 defenses, and if you've got a top 5 defense and a really good quarterback play, you without a doubt have a shot to hoist that Lombardi Trophy in February. It makes it a lot easier if you can win your division. The Texans trying to get right there to catch the Jags. There is a spot for them to win that because they have the advantage in the divisional record tiebreaker. If they wound up with the same record, then the Texans would win the division because of the divisional tiebreaker. If they wound up, let's say both of them finished the year 13-4. For the Chargers, they just got to win this game, beat the Broncos, and the AFC West is theirs. They both could be playing home playoff games in the postseason. The loser of this game most likely will not have that opportunity. So it's a pivotal matchup. Let's start with the Los Angeles Chargers. The injuries to them this season have been cruel. It has been said many times this year that they're not a contender because of the absence of Alt and Slater from their offensive line. This would be the best offensive line probably in the NFL if they had them. They got more bad news this week. They wound up losing one of their really important offensive linemen. It's unknown the status, right? They had to turn to Bobby Hart at right tackle, Austin Deculus at left tackle once they lost Sawyer in this previous game against the Dallas Cowboys. Sawyer, he'd been filling in at left tackle. They'd had Trey Pipkins in there, but he hasn't been playing for a couple of weeks. So there's some injuries to this offensive line that have proved very difficult for them. But I was impressed with their performance against the Cowboys because Herbert wasn't sacked. My goodness, what a statistic. Justin Herbert, no sacks against Dallas. As good as you can play at the quarterback position this past week, 23 of 29. 2 touchdowns, and a 133 passer rating. The injection of life into this offense is palpable with the return of the rookie ACC sensation, Omarion Hampton. For the Texans, on the other hand, their run game, well, they hit a brick wall in the form of Max Crosby and company for the Las Vegas Raiders. They couldn't get anything going. It's been a struggle the entire season for them to get supplemented run game. Just they've had an inability to throughout the year stay consistent week to week to week, run the football. 3.2 a carry, only 83 yards, and that led to CJ Stroud having a lot of the responsibilities on his shoulders. Now the defense, they gave up 21 points. I still thought that they had a decent performance. The Ashton Genty explosive catch for the touchdown, that was really big in this one. There was a deep reception for Jack Besh, the other rookie for the Raiders. They had a couple of benefits from long receptions. You take away those 2 plays, and Geno Smith was 14 of 21 for about 110 yards if you just take away those 2 completions on the day overall. So this Houston Texans defense was still getting after the quarterback. 3 sacks on the day. That's like a bad performance. Will Anderson, only 1 sack. Barnett, only 1 sack overall on the day. Hunter, only 1 sack. Like, what are we doing? What's going on out here for this defense? We've been accustomed to seeing a lot bigger numbers from those guys. Look, there's some great pass rushes in the league. There's guys like Myles Garrett. There's Aiden Hutchinson and Quadeen Muhammad who've been great for the Lions. You can go on and on about pass rush. There's good ones in the NFC, but there are not better pass rushes than what you see in the Chargers and the Houston Texans, specifically when you also add in their ability to stop the run. Khalil Mack, he stops the run. Pelotu, Tui Pelotu, he stops the run as well. You really have to dig deep, when you're looking at statistics, or film for that matter for both these 2 teams that shows any glaring weaknesses, because there just aren't any. And I would imagine this is a low-scoring game. There's capabilities for both teams. Nico Collins is a spectacular weapon, and CJ Stroud loves getting the football, his Ohio State quarterback football, to that Michigan Wolverine football, Jim Harbaugh. Seeing Nico Collins once again for Houston, hoping he has no catches for no yards, I bet. Seeing CJ Stroud, guy he had to go up against, he's probably open to get a win here. But the pass rush from both these two teams is some of the best in football. The statistics back all that up. The Chargers and Texans are both tied. They both have 41 sacks on the year. That's sixth best in the NFL. Both teams have 17 interceptions. That's tied for third best in the league. Turnover differential, the Texans have a plus 15 margin behind the Chicago Bears are at 21, or just doing something ridiculous this year. That's second in the league, and the Chargers also good in the turnover differential category. Both these teams are top tier in the NFL in yards allowed per game. Houston, they're number 1, 274 yards. The Chargers, 283. They're number 3 on this list. So top 5 in total defense, and then number 1 defense. Houston is number 1 in scoring, only 16.5 points a game. And the Chargers at number 8, 20 points a game allowed. That's a lot of numbers, a lot of statistics that you had to bear with me there. But look, people, you think we're going to see 30 points from either team in this game? You're being very optimistic about your team's offensive ability, or you're being a little bit too negative about your team. For example, with a poor offensive performance like that from Houston, the ability to hold the Raiders to only 21 is saying something. And then the Chargers, the way the Cowboys went down the field, 17 points, and then they didn't score the rest of the game. And you can make those adjustments. Man, Jesse Minter will be a head coach at a major Power 4 program in college, or he will be a head coach in the NFL very soon here. To be honest, if I'm the Michigan Wolverines, I don't know if they've reached out to Minter, if he's a guy, but I believe that's like a no-brainer type guy to bring back to that organization. Bring in and try and change the trajectory of where that thing's heading after they lost Sharon Moore. That's beside the point here. But Mentor's been spectacular with his defense. Demeco Ryans and his defense has been good as long as he's been there. They have an identity. Both these teams are going to smash your face in. They're going to get after you. They're going to pressure you. But they can also cover in the back end. Sticky coverage. They can still get to the quarterback only rushing 4 because of these dynamic rushes. And they have an underrated linebacking core. Azeez Al-Shair flying around, going sideline to sideline. This season, he leads the Texans in tackles. He's been excellent behind that. Derwin James, I always talk about as a linebacker because of that hybrid, edge, corner safety role that he plays. Dion Henley, he's been very good for the Chargers this year. Troy Dye, there's Perryman. I could talk about these two teams and their defensive play this whole video. I'm not gonna do that because we're not gonna make a 3-hour video, and the defense has been something I've always loved. So let's go specifics here. What do the Houston Texans need to do to win this game? And they'll break down what the Chargers need to do and go into some further breakdown for this. Starting off with Houston. Look, it's what you've done well with Collins. You're finding a way to get him in one-on-ones. It's that simple. And with this Chargers secondary that really disguises their coverage well, at their core, they really want to keep the football in front of them. And if they need to, they got to bend a little bit. They just don't break in the red zone, essentially. And if you can't run the ball like Houston has this entire year, I don't really see a reason for the Chargers to be ultra aggressive to give you opportunities one-on-one on the outside to Nico Collins. So for Houston, it's working Collins throughout the first half, getting him matchups, moving him around, and in his alignment so that you can have him lined up one-on-one. For this offense and their capabilities, it's been very good. That was a heavy sigh there because I was thinking that Jaden Higgins would have a larger role in this offense. Watching him at Iowa State with Rocco Beck last year, and then Lane, I just thought that these guys would be larger roles. And they've come along and been big parts for Houston and been a huge part of this offense, but still not to that level. Dalton Schultz has been that number 2 guy. And so it's going to look like Dalton Schultz or Collins, they will have to win one-on-one in the red zone for the Texans to win this game. It's going to be that simple. Third down, contested catch. Schultz making a catch over Derwin James. That's essentially what it boils down to. Nico Collins, the same thing. On the flip side of that, they have to find a way to keep the pressure off of their quarterback, right? So that's in the form of short fields, getting takeaways. Unlikely. Justin Herbert, he's protected the football well for the majority throughout the entire season. He did the same last year, except for when these two teams played, right? This is a rematch of the wild card round last year, a game where a lot of people thought the Chargers were going to win. I thought that the Chargers had a lot riding into that game. They didn't win because Herbert turned the ball over. He's got something to prove to this team in this Saturday afternoon matchup at SoFi. They won't turn it over. So the takeaway part of that, I'm scratching that one. It's not a random statistic, right? You can preach it and you can mentally prepare for it, make it happen, right? With getting after the quarterback, there's no secret that you apply pressure. It's a great way to force turnovers. But it's going to be a sense of the run game. If Houston can run the football for over 110 yards, I feel great about their chances to win. I'm not asking for 150 or even 125 for that matter, or even 4.5 a carry. If you can have 4 a carry and you run the ball 30 times and you get to 120, I feel great about the Texans' chances. Let's go to the Chargers and what they need to do to win. There's an explosive run from Hampton or a catch out of the backfield that he's able to take the distance into the red zone. An explosive. Why do you need explosives? This Texans defense is too dang good for you to just consistently be able to drop back and throw the football the way that Herbert's done throughout the year. This offensive line will look terrible. We already went through the offensive line and the juggling that they're going to be dealing with, most likely down to their third string left tackle. The Texans are going to have 6 or 7 sacks. Write it in right now. 6 or 7 sacks. Anderson, 2.5. Danielle Hunter, 2. Just put that in right now. We're already putting that figure in. The question is, could they get to something like 8 or 9 and this be one of the biggest poundings that Herbert takes from a standpoint as a quarterback sitting in there and not having time. So you need an explosive play from Omarion Hampton. Secondly, this defense has to get takeaways. There will be 3 or 4 drives right now, and I'm writing this down here to sort of keep track and rate sort of the advantages. You need takeaways in short fields. This Houston defense with Lassiter is excellent. This guy is maybe a top 5 corner. He doesn't get the attention he maybe deserves because of his running mate in Stingley. Very good player. Hands on you. So excited to see him go against McConkey and Trey Harris and Quentin Johnston, these big physical targets. And then Stingley, him go against Johnston and Keenan Allen, who's so good on third down. One of the best third down wide receivers in NFL history. So getting to see those matchups. The Chargers need takeaways to get short fields, to just get another 3 or 6 points on the board from a takeaway or two, just because getting the ball down the field and matriculating it and having success 7, 8, 9, 10 plays is just a tough task against Houston. I'm putting the number right around 20 points, what the Chargers are going to be capable of. I think that 3 touchdowns for either team wins this game. If you can get to 24 points, you'll win. The way that either of them play defense, so the explosive specifically for the Chargers, either team with a good run game, but more so the Chargers explosives to get down there. Because I know the Chargers have a good run game with Hampton back in here. He's going to get something like 16, 17 total touches of the ball. Probably something a little bit more than that, like 17 carries, 3-4 receptions. He's such a dynamic weapon, and the way he ran the ball at North Carolina, I thought that he could have been right there with the conversation with Ashton Jeanty. I'm a big college guy. I don't know how much you watch college. I hope you do. I talk about it a lot. Did previews for all the college football playoff games. Those are coming up. New Year's Eve, New Year's Day. Can't wait for those. But he had a bit more burst than Jeanty did, and that home run ability that GMs and scouts and the NFL just loves. It's breaking tackles like Jeanty did. So with Hampton, at the time when they made the pick, I thought that was the best pick in the first round. And I know that there's a guy like Travion Henderson that got taken in the second round. It looks like a steal for the Patriots. But do not be sleeping on this Hampton kid. He is a spectacular weapon. He's going to have to develop as a pass blocker as well. And then you add in Justin Herbert's mobility. He went and got some first downs. He went in and got into the end zone, right? A 34-yard run against the Cowboys, right? His knack for big plays, of gritty, of toughness. It's something that was questioned last year against the Texans. Like, is this guy really worthy? Like, is this the quarterback that we want going forward? Do we have faith in the direction of the organization with Herbert at the helm? Broken left hand. And he's battling. He's stiff-arming people in the face with that broken left hand. That game against the Eagles, I already was a Justin Herbert fan, but to me, that was like, this guy will win a Super Bowl. Justin Herbert will win a Super Bowl. It's going to happen. At some point, he's going to hoist the Lombardi trophy. That toughness is too good. The defense, is it able to maintain it? The game is going to come down to most likely a couple of third downs. It's going to come down to red zone play. A team is up by 3 late in this one. Is there a drive where you can go down the field and score a touchdown or get yourself in a position to win? Or do you wind up kicking a field goal and you leave 49 seconds for the other team in the dome to go the other direction and kick a game-winning field goal? That's what these games come down to. And I've got the faith in Herbert, if it comes down to that, to go do that. If it's a tight game, I got that faith in Herbert. Right? CJ Stroud, I got that faith, but there's been moments like the loss to the Bucs, where the Bucs go down the field, they win that game. And Herbert against the Dolphins leads the game-winning drive. The kicking situation, as good as it gets. I don't know if we're going to get a better kicking square-off matchup on a segue here for a bit of special teams than Fairbairn and Dicker the kicker, Cameron Dicker. These guys are unbelievable. From about up to about 60 yards, there's a confidence level that they're going to make just about any kick. That's how good they are, especially in perfect conditions. It being a dome, there's no wind, there's nothing to deal with there. So that's an even standpoint. I'm going through what I have, and it's even. This game is even. Because even with the advantage that the Texans have with that pass rush, the Chargers are able to balance that out by having more weapons. This is the deepest receiving core on the planet. McConkey, Harris, Johnston, Keenan Allen. I mean, Keandre Lambert-Smith's on here. That's in the tight end when he's out. Like, they have so many weapons and guys that at any moment can be dangerous. Disley and Conklin, the tight ends. Out of the backfield, Hampton now. Vidal. He probably misses this game, and as of right now, his status a bit uncertain. Recording this video on Tuesday. But this core is ridiculous. It's one of the deepest wide receiving cores probably in history, with guys that at any time can beat you on third down. got 4 guys over 600 yards. It's Gatson, Johnston, Allen, and McConkey. It's unbelievable. 10 or so targets, like guys that this season have had their moments and have been reliable. For Stroud, it is Schultz, it is Nico Collins, but outside of that, there's a bunch of question marks. And that's what the statistics back up. Now, Jaden Higgins has been good. The next step is, I believe, coming next year. And then after that, it's been Xavier Hutchinson at times this season. He's been very good. But you really can't compare outside of that top 2. You know, where would Jaden Higgins be in this Charger lineup? Somewhere around probably that 4 number, right around Harris, most likely. And I love Jaden Higgins. Man, I love this kid, Iowa State. I really thought they had a good shot to beat Arizona State in the Big 12 title a season ago. So now that we were even here, and I'm speaking highly about both of them, where is their advantage? Where do I go to give you confidence that I believe that a team can win this game? There's a team specifically that I have in mind that's going to come out with a win. I talked about the Chargers, the advantage in the run game, but you put that on the contrary to the Texans with this pass rush that has this just immense advantage on this offensive line. But then you go back the other direction, and CJ Stroud's been protected better this year than last year, but still not great. And the Texans can't run the football all that well. So ultimately, the Texans' lack of a run game, their lack of an array of weapons. They've got a couple of really good weapons, but it's not a deep core. And that's essentially versus the weaknesses of that offensive line for the Chargers, ultimately protecting their quarterback. At the end of the day, we're looking at a tie game going into the final 5 minutes. Unless there's the craziness, there's a pick six, a tip ball, a fumble by the goal line, special teams, touchdown, or blocked kick. There's all those types of things that go into this game. But these are about as even a teams as you're going to get. And I don't know if you want to hear it, but the Jaguars are a team that's right there as well. Even though they blew out the Chargers, they get them again. That's a tight game. I know that there's probably not a lot of Patriots fans watching this video, but that's another team that's right there. Are you going to take Drake May over Stroud or Herbert? Maybe. There's certainly going to be question marks surrounding him. Bo Nix and the Broncos. Josh Allen is the most experienced quarterback in the AFC for this playoff, but then again, 0-4 versus Mahomes, then the loss to Burrow in the postseason. Like, that defense, does it stack up? This thing is wide open. And with what we talked about, the chances of winning the division, having a home game in the postseason, it's too large a game. The winner of this game and having to go on the road 3 times in the postseason, it's too tough an ask. You got to go on the road 3 times, and you're that 5 or that 6 seed, and you got to go to Pittsburgh and play Aaron Rodgers, or you wind up going to New England, or you got to play this. You got to play at the Jags, or you wind up playing the winner of this game. So you got to play at Denver or at the Chargers if you're the Texans and you lose this one. I know it may seem like a lot or a bold statement, but I believe that a team that loses this game is in a position where they go from the possibility of being like a very great shot to get to the championship game to potentially losing in the first round and that wild card round being on the road. Both these two teams definitely could wind up on the road, and neither team wins their division. That's quite likely. But it feels like both of them have a great shot, and the winner of this game, you kind of just flip a coin, and in their chances to win. Right? That's the Jaguars and what they have left for them on that schedule, and that's the Chargers in the same spot. They'd just be in one game. The Denver Broncos, it's flip a coin when you've got a divisional matchup like that. Chargers are 5-0 in the division. They don't care. Broncos just got beat on their home turf by the Jags. So back to the coaching part of this, and that's an advantage that is slight for Harbaugh and this staff. You know, a guy like Minter, who I really enjoy, and I go back to the college ties there and that familiarity. A slight edge to this Charger staff or the Texans, quite slight. The kicking, again, that's quite even here. The home advantage, is there much of one? Not fully. Like Houston, obviously a huge market, but do they travel the way Philly or the Dallas Cowboys or the Lions or the Packers or the Seahawks or the 49ers do? No, they don't travel to that extent of those fan bases. So the Chargers will have more of a home field advantage in this game compared to games this year like against the Philadelphia Eagles on Monday nights, like where you're like, I have no idea. I have no clue whether or not this is this 50-50 or there's more fans for another squad or the Denver Broncos early in the season. Like, you have no idea there's more fans for either team. That's to say, I feel like the Houston Texans, with that line of scrimmage advantage, have a great shot to win this game. And I feel very confident that they can win that battle up front. But at the end of the day, that lack of the rushing attack is going to make this game close enough to where it comes down to Justin Herbert being in a position, and I just can't pick against Justin Herbert right now. I'm going to go with the Los Angeles Chargers to win this game. The depth of their receiving room, even with their offensive line being badly overmatched, I'm going to go with Herbert getting the football out on time. They get the stops necessary, and the Chargers win this game by a score of 23-20. And they pull out the win at home, and they set up a win and win the AFC West matchup with the Denver Broncos. I gotta know from you. Like, let me know. I think that, for example, a guy like Mario Edwards on IR, that is a critical piece of this Texans defensive line that they don't have for this game. Edwards has been a monster up front right there in the trenches. And then you also add in Ariante Ursary, Trent Brown, the offensive line for Houston. They're dealing with injuries. So this Chargers D-line can start to push and make this like a 6-7 sack game for either team. We might see 15 sacks in this game overall. That's a critical part of this. I'm bringing it up now because you're looking for like that final sway point of why I'm going with them. It's a battle both ways for me to come up with it. But with the injuries to Ursary and Brown and not knowing their status and no Edwards in the middle of that defense and the lack of that run game, and unfortunately Joe Mixon hasn't come back like we thought he might have. Chargers 23-20, game-winning field goal. Dicker, the kicker, hits it to send them to Denver with a chance to win the division. I got to hear from you. Let me know. What am I overlooking here? Where's the advantage for Houston that I'm missing for them to win this game? Or if you're a Charger fan, let me know. Are you insulted that I'm thinking it's this close? Is this team a team of destiny right now, even without their offensive line healthy, that Justin Herbert's just going to carry them to north up to Santa Clara for that Super Bowl? I'm curious. I mean, this team looked like the best team in football through the first couple of weeks of the season, beating the Chiefs, beating the Broncos, beating the Raiders, and the injuries strike, and they lose to the Giants. They wind up with losses to the Colts and to the Jaguars throughout the season, and it's been tough. It's been very tough sledding. They're 5-0 in the conference. They've got a defense that's top 5, just the way Houston does, but with that receiving core, I think this is a very dangerous team going forward. And if it comes down to Chargers-Broncos next week, I'm not going to make that pick yet. You're going to have to come back for that video, but I will take them to beat the Houston Texans 23-20. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you're watching this before Christmas, Merry Christmas to you. If you're watching it after, Merry Christmas to you all the same. If you celebrated Hanukkah recently, Happy Hanukkah to all of you that celebrate. The new year is fast approaching right now. I know that, family, it goes different directions for people in the way they feel about being around loved ones or friends, family. All we have to say here at Bullets with Blender is I really hope that you enjoy this holiday season. It's such a special time of year. a lot of you with Texans or the Chargers. These are organizations that haven't had a ton of high-level success, right? Looking for those to get over the top and hoist the Lombardi Trophy. So enjoy this. You never know what can happen to where next season you would think you'd be right back here. Houston, divisional round the last 2 years. You're like, the season after next year, you'll be back. So just appreciate where you are right now. Chargers all the same for that. They feel like they'll be a Super Bowl contender no matter what happens this season, but just appreciate the run of what's happening. I know I'll do the same with the teams that I got that I'm rooting for and just going to be joining the football to end this season. If you enjoyed this Blitz of Blender video, hit the subscribe button if you have not already. Leave me a comment down below what you think of this game, of this matchup. Fired up for this one. I'm Josh Blender. I make NFL college content weekly, getting you set and ready. It's the best time of year. The holidays, huge football games, playoff implications. The college football playoff is going to be unbelievable next week. Ohio State, Miami, a rematch of the 2003 title game. Ole Miss and Georgia, a rematch of their regular season game. Indiana and Bama in the Rose Bowl. Texas Tech, Oregon. So many great matchups to look forward to. And then the NFL playoffs will be right there coming up next. So thank you so much for watching. Happy New Year's to you guys, and I'll see you next time. Thank you for watching.
Best player in college football.
That Georgia and Ohio State game, New Year's Eve, is going to be a classic.
Josh Blender, hi everybody, I'm Josh Blender.
To the 40, 35, 30, Espinosa to the 20.